They say addiction is detrimental, but I say not if you're a sleepyhead. You are watching the Sleepyhead Fandom Hangout, a place where fans can theorize, debate, and gush about all things Sleepy Hollow. Be sure to tune in for exclusive interviews, episode reviews, and the latest news in the world of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, here we go. Hey everyone, this is Chrissy from Sleepy Hollow Addicts, and tonight I am going to be talking to Timothy Perez. He was actually Ichabod's cellmate, and thank you so much for joining me tonight for the video chat. Appreciate that.
No problem. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you having me. I feel honored.
Well, okay, so I have...
Hopefully Tom's not listening, so because if I say something bad about him, then he might not come get me out of lockup.
Oh, Lord. Well, I know. That's one of my questions. So are we going to see you again, I hope, on the show? Can you even say?
I don't know. I have no word, no knowledge of that. The way the writers work, I can get a surprise tomorrow. I don't know if they're done filming the season yet or not. I know they're pretty close, but you never know.
You never know. It would be great.
Huh?
You could have the witnesses break you out of the clink.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, I mean, that penitentiary is no fun place to be. Now, it was fun. Well, Ichabod was there.
Yeah.
Of course, and when he left us, Jesus is the way the name is really pronounced. Jesus is there all alone. He's got no friends.
Exactly. He needs some buddies.
That's right.
He needed somebody.
But like I said, we never know. Right now, I can't mention the show, but I'm a recurring guest star on another TV show. I'm filming the rest of the year, but I don't know from one episode to the next whether I'm going to be in or not. And I could get a call from my agent and say, "Hey, casting said they need you Thursday."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's a pretty fluid business, and you just have to say, as I always say, maximum flexibility, and just be ready for whatever comes down the pike. So hopefully with all the buzz that's been generated, they'll bring me back.
That would be great. Well, we'll still bug it. We'll bug them about that on Twitter. They probably are so sick of me, I'm sure.
Nobody gets sick of you. How do you get sick of anything related to you or Sleepy Hollow?
I don't know. Well, so tell me, how did you end up on the show? What happened?
Well, I went through the normal casting process. Typically what happens, a production will hire a director, and the director will decide pretty much who he wants to use as a casting agency. Casting agencies sometimes work with certain agents. Sometimes they'll release roles out to the public. Sometimes they go through the agency channels. And I had a call from my agent that she had submitted me, and I got selected to audition. And then I got the call that I booked, and it was great. It was all good.
Well, so now, what did you think? Had you ever watched the show before you were booked?
Yes. Yes. My wife, actually, I don't watch much TV. She goes, "You're an actor and you don't watch TV." I said, "That's because I get frustrated because I see all these people that have my job." But, yeah, I do watch the show when I'm home, but I travel, and work outside and have all kinds of stuff going on. But yes, enjoyed the show and was certainly honored and glad when I got selected to have a part.
Cool. I think, oh, there we go. I don't know. This video is kind of acting bizarro, but anyway, we'll keep going.
It's a computer. It's a computer.
Yeah, it's like technology is great when it works, right?
Exactly.
So I know you talked to another fan. I think you talked to Liz from Tom Meissen Fans, or you emailed her or whatever, and you said that you guys filmed at the real prison. What was that like?
Yeah, it was. What they did is they closed off one section, one wing, if you will, and had us isolated from the inmates. But the inmates were on the other side of the wire. And the funny thing is, Tom and I were in the orange suits, which was the same suit that the inmates wore. So we had deputies assigned to us, one, to make sure that folks knew that we were with these guys, and we had those little name tags on our wrists, so it looked like we were real prisoners. And they were also there to make sure that we didn't wander off into sections that we weren't supposed to be in. But they were there for our protection. But I'm sure inmates looked at us, at me and Tom, when we're on the other side of the wire, going, "What? How'd they get over there?" Because they didn't know who we were. They just saw prison dumpsters.
Like, what makes them special? Why are they getting meals? No, just kidding. Why are they getting special treatment?
Yes. Like they got their own trailers and everything.
That's so funny. Yeah. What was it? Did it feel weird? You know, I mean, I used to be an investigator, so I used to have to go to prisons and jail and stuff to talk to people. Isn't it weird when they close the door, because you're pretty much at their mercy? I mean, you're in there. That's it. Absolutely.
And you sit there and you wonder, you go, what if the lock doesn't unlock? What if the electricity goes out? What if? So all these what if scenarios start going through your mind. But for Tom and I, for our scene, they didn't shut the door. So because the scene wasn't through the bars, the director and the cameras were facing inside the door. So
right.
We got out. If we wanted to, we'd have to take out 2 cameramen, 2 crews, the director, and the AD would have been taken out if we panicked and tried to get out of there, because they had the door blocked.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, how long did it take you to film that scene, or were you? I mean, you were pretty much the first part of the episode, so.
Right. The funny thing about the way taping does is it's never in order.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you may tape the last scene of the episode first, and that presents its own challenges. But for your specific question, that day I was there, I think 12 hours or 12 or 14 hours, something like that. The first scene we taped was the sign scene. Meaning my scene, not the scene of the day. See, the peace sign, peace out. That was the first one. Then we had a break. They did some other stuff. Then they reset. Then we filmed the cell scene. But in the episode, the cell scene comes first. So the trick, if a character is throughout an episode, when you're doing your script and your script analysis, is you have to know where the character is during that part of the episode. This is where you take copious notes and you do your work. Because if we film scene 32 first, where is my character mentally, physically, emotionally in scene 32? So if you're not paying attention, you could get your character out of whack, and then it wouldn't look right in the. But for us, it was real easy. Peace out sign, and we just had a little chit chat, and it was all fun and games. But it was a long day to get that scene done.
Well, it's crazy how long it takes up to set up and everything. I mean, it's for like it was literally like 3-minute scene, and then like a 30-second, sea dog. So it's just funny to me how long it takes. So the lengths at which it takes to just film that first little bit.
I think we did that scene probably 4 or 5 times, because they'll move the cameras, because they got to get the angles on Abby, get the angles on Crane, get the angles on me, get shots of everybody else. So you put it all together, and it ended up being that 2-minute scene. But just to click that real quick clip to shoot over here, that was a whole setup. So you deliver, if you have a lot of dialogue, like Crane does, he had to give that speech so many times. The one when he was talking about how did he say it? Well, anyway, when she asked him if he wanted to stay with his newfound friends, he said, "Oh God, no." He had to do that whole paragraph, if you will, that speech it's called, at least 5 to 7 times, at least.
Oh my God.
All I had to do was this.
Yeah, you got it easy. I know with cameras, I mean, I know, I come from sort of the soap opera background, and they have 4 cameras that they use. And I mean, they do a scene maybe once or twice, they're done on the next thing. And I always wonder why they don't do that in prime time, and they would like save so much time, they could get the coverage that they need quicker, and then they wouldn't have to set up and reset up and all of that. So
yeah, you would think it would make sense to run 2 cameras, but the challenge in that is the lighting. Because if you have a camera coming from this direction, they have to get the lighting. Now, when the cameras move over here, the lighting has to change. Otherwise, you may be dark over here. So the lighting has to go with the set and the cameras to make sure it flows and that it looks like it's the right time of day, and nobody's got any hot spots because of the lights, and the shadowing's right. So and that's where the That's where the crew comes in to make a production look good. You know, the actors get all the credit, but my gosh, the pressure and the stress and all the technical stuff that goes into making that look good is awesome. It takes a lot of skill to bring a lot of team.
What was it like working with Tom? I mean,
Tom, cool dude. Yeah, I like Tom. He's very professional. Obviously, the guy, he set the tone on set. He provided leadership in his character, in his mannerisms and how he delivered the lines, and we would talk about, and he would offer his input as to maybe the best way to run a scene or something like that. But very personable fella, very easygoing, nice to chat with. I enjoyed him. He's the kind of dude I can hang out with. Yeah. He's a great dude, Tom.
Well, what did you guys do during the downtime?
I had more downtime than he did because he had all of those scenes for the days.
I'm not hearing you at all.
When I'm not taping, I'm back in the cast area. So I was sitting in the chair eating some of the crafty snacks and whatnot. He would come in every once in a while for a break, but it was just, it was all in for him. So he was busy 100 mile an hour the whole day. So we didn't have much downtime to speak of. At least he didn't.
Yeah.
I sat for 12 hours in between my scenes, so I had plenty of downtime. But he was busy. He was working hard. He's got to carry that show. That's a heck of a burden to carry.
I know, he does a great job at it too.
Yes,
and what was Nicole like? Did you get to chat with her at all?
I did not. She only came into the cast area once or twice. Like I said, they're busy. They go from one scene to the next, and they're in pretty much all the scenes. So they have to get prep from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and get the sides and what's coming up next, and maybe recalibrate your mind for where the next scene is. Like I said, it might be scene 32. Now you're doing scene 4. So there's a lot of calibrating and adjusting and getting your mind set, and they're working hard. So we didn't get a chance. We said hi, introduced ourselves, and that was the extent of it with Nicole. I mean, we just didn't see each other. She was busy.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, what did you do? Did you do anything to prepare for the role? I mean, you're basically, you've got just that little couple lines there. I mean, had you ever played a prisoner before, or what did you?
A lot. It seems like I get that a lot. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I was a prisoner. Swamp Murders, Born Again Virgin. I'm trying to remember everything I've done where I had a prison jumpsuit on. Quite a few things. But to prepare for it, even though it was a small scene, I just did the script analysis. Where was my character? Tried to deduce what the writer was looking for, and be able to play the character different ranges and not be locked into one type of delivery. Be able to exercise this character. So when we get on set, once the characters come together and the director and we see the words come to life, then they make changes. It's called an adjustment. We have to be able to adjust. You know, Peter Weller was a great director. Enjoyed working with him. Guy was just a fireball and dynamic, and he's just full of energy. He called me Timothy, which was kind of cute. That is my name, but I go by Tim. But all my acting paperwork says Timothy. So when I get on set, folks will call me Timothy, and it would be funny because around the corner he'd say, "Timothy, let's do it this way," or "Timothy, let's do it that way," because he's watching it on the camera. So anyway, you just exercise the character and be ready for change. Because once we get on set and the director and the writer are there and they're looking at it, they'll give you some adjustments. They may change the lines, they change your character a little bit, your delivery. So they'll give you their input, and you mold that in with your assessment of who the character is. So you just have to. Very interesting.
It's interesting to hear the process of it. What did you learn anything working with Peter? Because I mean, oh my God, he's like a god practically for directing. Did you learn anything from him, or did he give you some tips that you'll take to use in the future?
Well, it was probably the same process it was with most of the productions and the directors. I didn't learn anything new about acting. I just saw how he directed, what his vision was, and how he would bring actors to where he needed them to be. So what I was learning was how this director works, because every director is different. They're different in how they coach you to bring the actor, because that's part of their training, part of their skill set is how to get the actor to deliver what they're envisioning. Like I said, he was a great guy to work with. I would love to work with him again. Awesome dude.
Well, what kinds of things did you guys have to adjust, or did you notice, things that they were adjusting for the scene with Tom and Nikki?
No, I didn't see anything with them because I didn't have any scenes with them. The only scene where
you just had the one scene with Tom. Was there any adjustment, or did you guys talk about how?
Yes, because what'll happen is it's very subtle, it's very small, and usually the adjustments are ever so small. There's usually nothing huge. There's no 180-degree maneuver. But when we get on set and we're in character and we've assessed the scene, we've done our scene analysis, what we do is we start delivering it. And sometimes we may talk. I may say, you know what, it feels like I would do this here. My impulse is to do this. What do you think? He goes, yeah, I'll do that. And the director will chime in. So between again, the writer and the director's vision, our interpretation of the character, when we start pulling it together, those would be the adjustments. Maybe a little bit in the delivery, a little bit in the body language, a little bit in where we're standing. And some of that has to do with the space we're in and the lighting. Sometimes we have to cheat. We might be closer to each other and turn sideways when the camera's over here. When the camera's over here, we're a little further apart, so it looks right on the camera. So those end up being the adjustments. Probably more technical than anything else, because as the actors, if we've done our homework, we're pretty much in the pocket of what it needs to be. But once the dynamic of it all starts playing on set, we just have to be in tune to that, and then to be able to adjust and make it flow and make it look natural.
Yeah. Well, you guys, it was a great scene. And the other funny thing about it, I don't know if you knew, but people, the weekend prior to that, to the premiere, they were both Tom and Nikki. They were at the Dragon Con, and they did like a panel there. And somebody called him. I can't believe they even got up. They told Tom he was super hot Jesus. And so then you have the line of "Oh Jesus," and I just about died laughing just because that had just happened. It was. And
then of course the reference to Annie.
Yeah, that will crack me up. And then at the end of did you see the episode? Did you see it? Did you watch it?
I did.
Yeah, I liked at the very end they played "It's a Hard Knock Life."
Yeah, that was a good. I didn't catch that at first when I first did the audition, and my manager said, "You know what that line's from, don't you?" I said, "No." She goes, "Annie." I said, "Oh, okay." It didn't. And she asked me. She said, well, now that you know, my manager's Crackerjack Management, and I'm with the Jana Van Dyke Agency. Both those are my manager and agent out of Atlanta. And she said, would you have done anything different in your audition now that you know that? And I said, no, I didn't, because the way they played it was serious to make it look like Ichabod was praying.
Yeah.
His cellmate's name is Jesus. But Ichabod, being who he is, called him Jesus. And then that's the funny part. Looks like he's praying. This dude pops out from under the bunk, quoting Annie, a prisoner. So it was hilarious. It was a fun scene to do. Yeah. And then, of course, the peace out sign. And we worked on that a minute. That right. The script was written that Ichabod would do the sign to Jesus at the table. But when we rehearsed it, I can't remember why, we just changed it to where I did it first, and then he
makes sense, after the big speech and everything. He's full of speeches.
Exactly. But see, that's again the writer wrote it in his mind, but when we got on set and we rehearsed a couple different ways, that was what we went with. That was the flow for it, and it worked.
What I love is that it's very collaborative, it sounds like. And I mean, I've been lucky enough to talk to some of the cast, in the past. And it seems like, everybody just really tries to do the best that they can, to put out a great episode. They all work together. There's no, because, sometimes I've heard, stories of, oh no, you got to do it exactly how it's written or whatever. But I like that there's the creative and a collaborative with Sleepy Hollow, and it makes a difference.
There is, and there are some productions that are not flexible I mean, every word has got to be delivered exactly, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just different, and that's a different team, and those are the folks that are running the production, so they're paying the bills. We do what they want. But no, Sleepy was fun and was collaborative, and again, a lot of discussion, and we got it done. It was a fun team to work with. I hope Jesus gets out of jail.
Yes, hello.
Comes back to build some muscle and help somebody along.
Well, see, my theory, my plan is that, or what I would do is, you know, have some kind of a monster infiltrate the prison and killing off prisoners, and they have to go in and they have to extract you. That's all. Got to save the cellmate.
There you go. You just send a little note to the writers, and we got it all figured out. Jesus is getting out in how many days till next season?
7 days. I don't know. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it. It was fun. And
thanks for having me, and I appreciate everybody supporting the show, even though, again, I had a small role in one episode, and I enjoyed it, but still feel a part of the family. I was there, and I appreciate everybody's support on it, and hopefully it'll be back next year. With or without me, we want it to come back next year.
Fingers crossed. Oh my God, we fought hard to get it this year. So if I have to do that again, I guess we'll do it.
I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, it was a blast. So, but yeah. So I guess we'll hopefully we'll see you again. And thank you so much.
It would be good. And I'd like to say thanks to all the fans. Anybody that's been following my accounts. And granted, I'm not one of the big stars of that show there, but I certainly appreciate any support that folks give me, and I want to say thank you to them as well.
Well, I think in the end of everything, yours is gonna be that scene with the Sea Dog sign is the most memorable of the season thus far. So
yeah, I see that one retweeted and tweeted and Instagrammed all over the place. It just feels cool to be a part of that.
Totally.
You know, to have that happening on Twitter and on that show and with Tom Meissen. It's cool.
Exactly. Well, you have a good weekend. Thank you so much, and good luck with your other projects.
And as soon as they will let me announce, I will tell you.
Yes, and let me know. Email me, and I'll do an article.
It's a big one. I'll let you know. Thanks for having me, and peace out to everybody.
Peace out.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye. Okay, so I think so that was Timothy Perez, and he was amazing. Thanks again to Tim Perez for joining me on Sleep Hello Addicts Hangout, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.